In March 2010, I did a 2-week trip to New Zealand, just the North Island. We basically circumnavigated the entire North Island and did a lot across the middle, from left to right and up and down. We hope you'll enjoy this few snippets of the trip that we've got on video for you. We started off in Auckland after flying over from Sydney. It's only a 2-hour flight. And then the next day we headed north to the Bay of Islands. The first stop in this video clip is Whangarei. Now this is Parihaka Lookout. It's on the north side of Whangarei. And here we are looking south down to Auckland, although Auckland's a little bit too far away to see. We're looking out there to the west and back over the town. And over here on the left, since 1957, has been the Whangarei and District War Memorial to all those who served. After hitting the glowworm caves at Waitomo, we were inland. We had to find our way toward the east. And so on day 5, we found ourselves at a little place called Te Aroa. Okay, so this is the Makona Geyser, and it's just bubbling away. And according to the sign, it operates between midday and 2 p.m. daily at 40-minute intervals, so it's obviously on strict union rules to work only those hours. And you can see it just bubbling away in the background now. Very exciting. Ooh. On day 6 of the trip, we find ourselves in the middle of the North Island at a place called the Powakani Forest Totara Tree Walk. And we walk and walk and walk through the Powakani Forest until we find the tree. Now there are plenty of signs warning you that the tree is coming up, but you keep walking and walking and walking. Eventually you actually get there. And my goodness gracious me, when you get to see the tree, it was worth the walk. The tree is just under 40 metres tall. No camera can do it justice. And of course, in the forest, there are other things as well. For instance, there are more big trees. And of course, some of these trees are getting on towards 1700 years old. So I suppose it stands to reason there'd be some that have died of old age. Ah well, there are still plenty of really big monsters out there in the Powakani Forest. And if you're up to it, it's a great walk and really worth the effort. Now it's still day 6, and just a little bit further down the road, around about halfway between Taupo and Rotorua, is a place called the Orokai Koriko Heat Fields. Now these heat fields are on land owned by Maoris. It's on one side of the river, so you catch a boat across to the other side of the river and you walk around the heat fields and have a good look. Now this is of course typical of New Zealand, where you get elements of the earth that would normally stay under the earth coming through so that we can actually see them.
Looked at love from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love's illusions I recall. I really don't know love at all. Tears and fears and feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds, I've looked at life that way. Oh, but now old friends, they're acting strange. They shake their heads, they say I've changed. Well, something's lost, but something's gained in living every day. I've looked at life from both sides now, from when I skies, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life. I've looked at life from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know life at all.
And so coming into the morning of day 7, we find ourselves at Taupo, where we stayed overnight, and first thing of the day, we get up to have a look at the lookout. And a short distance away, we go to the Hookah Falls to see a lot of water going very fast. So here at Hookah Falls, there's 220,000 litres of water every second going down. 220,000 litres, or 220 kilolitres, is 44 of my 5,000 litre water tanks in the backyard every second. The drop down here is 11 metres apparently. Oh, g'day there. Now, a little bit further along the way are the Takanu thermal fields. Now, for a tourist, they're a bit ho-hum, they're a bit small, but they mainly cater for people who want to go and swim in the waters and enjoy the therapeutic powers of the waters from the earth. What we're showing you here, of course, you really wouldn't want to swim in. So we stayed overnight at New Plymouth, and in the morning we got up and we started to drive around Mount Taranaki, or Mount Egmont in the European name. We got around about 180 degrees, and on the south side of the far western peninsula there's a place called Whanganui. There's something really nifty at Whanganui, and that is there's an elevator from the lookout down to the street. That's right, it's purely outdoors. You go from the top down to the bottom, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who would think that this would be very good in their local area too. So after a couple of days in Wellington and then one at Napier and then at Aotearoa, the top right-hand side of New Zealand, we found our way back to the middle, back to Rotorua. Driving up and down the Coromandel Peninsula, on the very last day of the trip, we came to the Ngatea Water Gardens. This isn't all that far from Auckland, and Auckland was the last night we stayed in a motel near the airport. We were sorry to go, of course, but the Ngatea Water Gardens is a really good place to sort of finish up really quietly. There's some beautiful grounds, there's some really weird signs, and there's a collection of beer can empties in its own shed. I asked whimsically whether that crocodile was real, but of course, if it had have been, there would have been an enormous occupational health and safety risk. And it didn't really take that long, and alas, we were back home in Sydney.